this live stream. Today's live stream is something which I think people need to know about. So I've done a live stream today to discuss that topic and to see whether you guys agree with things and or disagree with things. So yeah. It should be an interesting topic to talk about. I most probably, well, I am interested. I'm interested to see what you guys are interested in and things like that.
A message has been received.
So yeah, I'm eager to see what you guys are interested in and yeah, all sorts. My notification, I know. Yep. It's funny, isn't it? Um, there you go. Um, so this live stream is obviously I'm fine, thank you, Lewis. So this live stream's about being on the spectrum whilst working. Now, being on the spectrum and working is very hard because people misjudge what you think, and it does get to the point where it's overwhelming and you get emotional and it gets just too much and you can't deal with things and it just explodes and you don't know how to express your feelings. But the only way to express your feelings is to just let emotion, and like it's very hard to not get emotional when things go wrong. Like for example, if someone says something like you got you like jokingly, that's a sackable offense, being jokingly being like messing about saying things like that. For an autistic person, if they say it seriously in like a serious way, it will lead to make them upset, but the person who upsets you doesn't mean to upset you. And it is quite hard for people to understand that is upsetting for someone like that, a joke like that. Like, I don't mind it if people. This is just my opinion, mind. Everyone's obviously different, and everyone who is on the spectrum is obviously not going to be like to me. They're all going to be different. But for me, if something like that does happen, or if I do see if something like that does happen, it does upset me. But I don't mean to be upset, or like it would like it's hard to explain unless a situation does have happened. Let's think what example I can use. Like for example, you go to work and you see something, or a employee says something, and it's a joke, and you think that that employee thinks it's not a joke. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. Hang on, let me sort this out a minute. But it's like it's difficult to explain unless like you're in my shoes. Like for example, it's it is hard to be working whilst on a spectrum. It's like it doesn't affect how you work. It doesn't affect who you are, but it does affect when it comes to a bit of jokes and a bit of banter and stuff like that. But the other person doesn't realize that that upsets you. And it's like when I'm on live streams and when I'm talking to people online, I find it hard to like chat to them because they're not in person. Like I always prefer to do a live stream and where people can comment, but I always find it hard to type in the live chat, I'm okay, or I find it hard to be myself because I am afraid that if I be myself, they're not going to understand who I am. And it sometimes it scares me sometimes to be on live streams that are like overcrowded. So like when there's lots of people in, I go quiet on the live stream because I'm like I can't butt into this conversation because these like people are having this conversation about something normal, and I'm like I can't comment because I'll comment something silly and they'd be like, uh what's the about? But like going back to working whilst being on the spectrum, working and being on the spectrum, it doesn't it doesn't really like affect it does affect what how you do things, but it's just it's like it's not it's not bad, but then people just misjudge you. And that's what I don't like about being on a spectrum or being autistic. People misjudge who you are. People think you're a normal person and they can treat you the same as everyone else. But sometimes you need to be treated that a slight bit different for things to work. So like if you're just working or you've got a job, say for example, you've got a job, you're working and an employee, but like employee, like you have a friend or an employee is who is a friend, and something happens, like jokes or let's say a mishap happens, like something bad happens in the kitchen, and the autistic person finds them in a situation where it's like you're you think you've done things wrong when you haven't. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Obviously, the things that I'm going about to say, they're all relevant to me. Whether they're relevant to anyone else who is on the spectrum, that's something different because everyone who is on the spectrum will have a complete different understanding and knowledge of what autism is, and everyone who is on the spectrum will have different techniques to cope with things and different things. Is autism is not just one thing. Everyone's autism is different. Like for me, autism is something that is not controllable. You got it permanently, you're stuck with it, and you can't get rid of it. It's like a bug or like a bee going bzzz. You can't get rid of it. But it's like working is easy. Get that right. Anyone can work, but being on the spectrum is completely different. Anyway, I think I've covered that topic. I think I've covered that topic. But yeah, I just wanted to come on and quickly say things that get better and get you guys a better understanding of autism. Now, I'm going to go on the topic of autism itself, which I think will be interesting. I'm not sure whether people will find it interesting, but we shall give it a go. So far, I can see no viewers. Anyway, my viewer count might be faulty. But yeah, it is hard being on the spectrum sometimes. Not many people understand you. That's life, isn't it? But, yeah, it's not. Being on the spectrum is good, but it has its disadvantages. It it is difficult being on the spectrum, but yeah. Does anyone have questions for this, or now's your time? Any questions about autism? Well, I got. That's okay. That's okay, Lewis. Any questions for me about autism or how I deal with things? No questions? Okay. I'll end the live stream now. So I see you guys later. Thank you very much for watching. And yeah. Yeah, I don't have much to say. Apart from, there is one thing. It's not something that is a bad thing. Autism is something that is safe, something that you can rely on, something it has its disadvantages, but those disadvantages can be solved. They can be solved no matter who you are. I'll see you again. Bye.
A message has been received.